Welcome to Eating Smart, Being Active. Today's lesson is Make Half Your Grains Whole. Today we will be talking about food labels and how to find half of your grains to make sure that they are whole grains. And looking at our food labels here and our nutrition facts on the top and the back side as well. We will also be looking at our My Plate so that we can see our portion size for the grains in general and what they do for us. I'm going to be showing a variety of pictures of what counts as grains. Here on our flip chart, we do have some general examples, which are popcorn, cooked pasta, cooked rice, ready-to-eat cereal, tortilla. This is a corn tortilla. We have a slice of bread. We have half of a bagel, a muffin, and some crackers there. I also have examples of different kinds of grains here, just to show that it won't always be oats or wheat. We do have several different types of grains. So beginning, I want to show in our handout here how it talks to us about how whole grains have fiber, vitamins, and minerals that are necessary each day for our bodies to be healthy. We do have some examples down here at the bottom of whole grains and refined grains. In the whole grain side, we have whole grain bread, whole wheat pasta. Most ready-to-eat cereals are whole grain or whole wheat tortillas, brown or wild rice, oatmeal, and whole grain barley. Now these are just some examples. Refined grains, we have a lot of the grains that we're mostly used to seeing. We have white bread, regular pasta, most pastas are refined, white flour tortillas, most corn tortillas, white rice, and pearl barley. We also have some goldfish crackers here. We have bagels. We have pancakes, cornbread, pretzels, muffins of different kinds. We have pita bread, some dinner rolls or bread rolls. Now there's a difference in color in these because the whole grain is used in the whole grain products. So in this case, the products do tend to look a little bit darker. Our muffins, our bread, our rice, our tortillas will look a little bit darker. And this is because the whole grain has been used. I want us to take a look at our flip chart here and how we have the whole grain and the refined grain and the difference between the two. When we have a whole grain, this whole grain has three parts to it. It has the bran, which gives us fiber, and the bran is kind of like the shell of the outside of the grain. We have our endosperm, which contains the carbohydrate, and this is the center part. And we have our germ, which is almost like the little seed in the middle. This contains our vitamins and minerals. In the process of refining, we do get rid of the bran and the germ and are left with our endosperm or carbohydrate. Now I want to explain something about this, the difference in these two. Carbohydrates, when we are talking about grains, our grains group here does contain carbohydrates. This is the main nutrient from this group right here. And carbohydrates are necessary in our bodies on a daily basis. They give us energy, they help us begin our day. You'll notice that a lot of the breakfast foods are found in this grains group, such as pancakes, waffles, even a burrito with the tortilla. A lot of our breakfast foods are found in this group, which helps us to understand a little bit about how we need something from this group to start our day, to give us that energy that the carbohydrates provide for us. Now, whole grains do give us a little bit extra than just the carbohydrate. The whole grain will provide us as well fiber and the vitamins and minerals that are needed with that carbohydrate, so it doesn't turn to sugar as quickly. The digestive process is a little bit slower. Now that we've talked a little bit about how our carbohydrates and our grains help us out, I want to open up our handout here and talk about portion sizes. Now this group is measured in serving sizes of ounce equivalents, okay, instead of cups. So we have for ages 2 to 8, for total grains necessary a day or recommended is 3 to 5 ounces. For whole grains, we want to make sure that at least half of that is whole grains, so at least 1.5 to 2.5 ounces. For ages 9 and up, we want to be consuming a total of 5 to 9 ounces daily. So half of that would be our whole grains at 2.5 to 4.5 ounces. We want to remember that the ones that can consume up to 9 ounces, I want to say 7, 8, or 9 ounces of grains a day would be the people who are very active. A lot of times it's our adolescents or teenagers or adults who are playing sports, are very active, who are burning more calories. In this case, they need more calories consumed. The average amount of grains recommended daily is going to be about 6 ounces. This is based on a 2,000 calorie diet. So some more examples of ounce equivalents. 1 ounce equivalents here are 1 slice of bread, 1 6-inch tortilla, 1 cup of ready-to-eat cereal, ½ cup of cooked rice, pasta, or noodles, ½ cup of cooked cereal, such as oatmeal, 1 small muffin, 1 small biscuit, 5 to 7 crackers, 1 small piece of cornbread, half of an English muffin, half of a small bagel, or 3 cups of popped popcorn. Now these can be found in refined or whole grains. The popcorn is considered a whole grain, so 3 cups of popcorn will be a whole grain. These are all ounce equivalents. So this is something that can help us figure throughout our day how many ounces of grains we have been consuming or how many we need to consume for the rest of the day or have consumed already throughout the day. Some of our examples here of different grains are spelt, bulgur, cracked wheat, barley, millet, quinoa, oats. Now these are just some examples of grains that tend to be in our multi-grain foods. If we have quinoa, there's different colors of quinoa. There's black, red, white versions. If we happen to buy something like multi-grain bread or multi-grain cereal, we might have a mixture of these grains in those products. And this is something that can be used and consumed in different recipes. I want to talk now a little bit about how to find our whole grains and whether it is actually a whole grain product or not. I have an example here of cereal. So it is an enriched bran flakes cereal, and when it is a whole grain product or whole wheat product, it will be the words 100% or whole will be part of the title of the product. So we have here how it says enriched bran flakes, natural whole wheat cereal. And then it lets us know that it has an excellent source of fiber. So we'll look for ourselves here in a little bit at the nutrition facts label when we flip over this label. On the back side of our label, we want to look at the ingredients list towards the bottom, and the very first ingredient should say whole grain, whole wheat, or 100% in front of that type of grain. In our case here, it says ingredients, whole grain wheat. So this confirms to us that it is a whole wheat product, 100%. Then we want to make sure that if it lets us know that it is an excellent source of fiber, that we remember our daily percentage should be at 20% or higher per serving. So if we go to our dietary fiber right here on our nutrition facts, it says 5 grams and our daily value percentage is 20%. So this confirms to us that it is an excellent source of fiber because 20% or more is high if we can remember from our Plan, Shop, and Save lesson. I do want to show another example of whole grain, and this is a different type of grain. This is our oats. So this is just a brand that we're used to seeing, but it could be any brand. In this case, it does tell us Quaker oats, 100% whole grain. Now when we look at the back of this label and we go to our ingredient list, it does tell us 100% natural whole grain Quaker quality rolled oats, and that's because of the brand. Then if you're looking for fiber, to make sure that your fiber is high in this type of grain, you can go to your dietary fiber and check the grams and the daily value percentage to see if that's at 20% or more. I also want to show a good example of something that can be a little bit tricky. When we have wording that comes to us, such as good source of or good portion of whole grain or whole wheat, this is giving us kind of a little bit of a hint that it may not be 100%. Okay, and this could be in any brand of cereal, not necessarily just this brand, but we want to make sure that we are looking for our words that say whole grain or whole wheat as part of the name of that product. So this one here does say good source of whole grain. In that case, when we double check on the back of our our nutrition facts list here, our ingredients list begins with corn. Then the second ingredient is whole grain wheat. In this case, that tells us that it is a good source of whole grain, but as a second ingredient. So it won't be 100% whole grain. Now on our single sheet here, it gives us a little bit of a review on the first page, talking to us about the wording on products. It says choose whole grains. Ingredient list should say whole or 100% whole before the words wheat or any other type of grain as the first ingredient. The second bullet tells us that as part of the product name, it should have the words whole grain or 100% whole grain in the product name. And they give us an example here. It says brand cereal with raisins, whole grain cereal. Now, choosing high fiber. This gives us another little review here on our nutrition facts label. Use the nutrition facts label to choose products high in fiber. Foods high in fiber have 20% or about 5 grams or more of the daily value of fiber. This will let us know that that is a good enough portion of fiber for our serving size. Then on the back of our loose page here, it does let us know how to store our whole grains or our grains in general. We want to talk about food safety a little bit with each food group here that we discuss. And storing your foods has a lot to do with that. So for our regular breads, they can be stored at room temperature, but they also may be frozen for up to 3 months. If you happen to find a deal on bread or whole wheat bread that may be cheaper at the time and it's something that you do already use, this is something that you can freeze. And at the time you are ready to use it, I would say move it from the freezer to the refrigerator so that you can defrost it in the proper manner. Our uncooked grains can be stored in a tightly closed container in a cool, dry, dark place. Our whole grains have a shorter shelf life than refined grains. So we want to remember this. A lot of times they may last us a little bit longer or taste fresher if we store them in the refrigerator. If you have the space to do that, I would say your whole wheat flour, your whole grains, if you would like to store them in the refrigerator, they may last you a little bit longer just because they do have a shorter shelf life because they are more natural. They aren't processed. Our cooked grains can be stored in the refrigerator for up to 5 days. And this can be anything such as oatmeal, cooked rice, refined or whole grains of any sort can be stored in the refrigerator for up to 5 days. So this goes like our regular leftovers. Okay, it follows the same rules as our regular leftovers. Turning to the back of our handout here, which talks to us about our goals for the week. Our goal for this week says, a whole grain I learned about today that I'll try this week is, I want you to think about reading labels and finding our whole grains, maybe even thinking about some of the examples that I showed today of our different grains, to think about what kind of whole grain you would like to try for this week and try to make that your goal for the week with your family. Also, I want you to keep in mind our physical activity. One of the other goals says here, this week I'll be more physically active by. If you already have a physical activity routine, try to think about how you would like to step that up a little bit, whether it be in intensity or by just a couple of minutes. I want you to keep on with your physical activity and remember that as adults, we do need 30 minutes at least a day, 5 days or more throughout the week. Thank you for joining us today with our lesson and have a good day. Today's incentive for Make Half Your Grains Whole is our measuring cups. We do have a 1 cup measurement, a half cup measurement, we have 1/3 and 1/4. Next is a healthy food recipe that goes with our lesson. I hope you enjoyed our food recipe. Now for some exercise. Here is our warm-up. Today I'm going to be showing you the steps for warm-up and how to do them. So with our first step, we want to go ahead and make sure that our feet are shoulder width apart. We want to stretch our arms out and reach for the sky. And we want to do this about 3 to 4 times. And it's just starting to get our blood moving. And we're going to either move our arms with us or you can keep them down at the side. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can put your hands on your hips and we're going to be stepping from side to side. 1, 2, 3, 4. And back at the center. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to be moving the same arm that you move with your leg. Okay, so we'll start on the right side. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we're going to make sure that we step to the side. And some of these steps are repeated, but again, this is to get you warmed up and get your blood flowing. Now it's time to get up and get moving. Let's do our exercise for this week's lesson. For this lesson, our exercise is the jump rope. We want to make sure that our feet are shoulder width apart, and we will be going from side to side again and using our upper body. Now, for the jump rope, I'll be doing 4 counts, beginning now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, when you do this exercise at home, you want to make sure that you are doing your 2 counts of 8. Next, we're doing a little bit of a cool down exercise. I want you to begin this exercise by breathing in, moving your arms up, and breathing out when you move your arms down. In, and out. One more time. And this helps calm your body down after an exercise so that you can make sure that if it's in the evening especially, it helps slow your body down and your heart rate isn't going as fast. Also, we want to make sure that we remember that as adults, we need 30 minutes of exercise 5 days or more out of the week. And for children and teenagers, they need an hour at least each day. Thank you for participating at this week's exercise. I hope you enjoyed yourselves, and I will see you all at our next lesson.